Have you ever wondered why some people achieve success so easily while the rest keep struggling? Do they have some hidden talent or secret superpower? Or is there a secret that makes them different from everyone else? Here's the truth: they don't have a superpower. What they do have is one powerful force: self-discipline. This is the strength that protects you from laziness, excuses, and distractions. It's the weapon that can turn every dream into reality, whether it's your health, your career, or your personal life. But here's the big question: do you want to build this strength? If yes, then let's dive into Brian Tracy's book, The Power of Self-Discipline, and discover how self-discipline can become the biggest game changer of your life. Think about this. Have you ever planned to wake up early, but when the alarm went off, you just hit snooze? Or promised yourself you'd go to the gym, but ended up scrolling Netflix on the couch? Or thought, today I'll manage my money, but by evening, it was all gone on unplanned shopping? This isn't just your story, it's all of ours. We all know what we should do, but still, we don't do it. A student knows they should study, but the phone keeps pulling them away. A professional knows they should finish projects on time, but procrastination keeps holding them back. And all of this happens because of a lack of self-discipline. This book shows us how to fix that. It teaches us how to take control of our lives, hit our goals, and become productive, successful, and genuinely happy. The Power of Self-Discipline isn't just another book. It's a practical guide to changing your habits, reshaping your mindset, and transforming your entire life. Welcome to Unique Audiobook. This is where you'll find the world's best book summaries, delivered in just 15 minutes. Each one unlocks hidden secrets that can change the way you think and live. Whether you're a student, a parent, a professional, part of the corporate world, working on your relationships, or trying to improve your finances, this channel gives you practical solutions and fresh perspectives. And remember this: the secret we're about to uncover might just become the turning point of your journey. I've seen this pattern again and again. The people who stick around until the end always learn the most, and they're the ones who succeed the most. Before we continue, let me warn you, don't skip this video halfway. In this book, Brian Tracy reveals principles that, if you don't fully understand, you might miss out on one of the greatest powers you'll ever have. This video isn't just a regular book summary. It's a blueprint for changing your life forever. People who leave with half the knowledge never become fully successful. Believe me, the last principle in this video is the most powerful one, and it can create the biggest transformation in your life. So stay with me, because what you're about to learn isn't just another secret. It's the strength to take complete control of your own life. When we think of self-discipline, the first name that comes to mind is Muhammad Ali, a boxer who proved to the world that nothing is impossible with discipline and effort. He trained for hours every day, no matter how exhausted he was. Even after celebrating a win, he'd go right back to practice. He once said, "I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion." That's how Ali turned discipline into his greatest weapon, by mastering his emotions instead of letting them master him. That's just one example. Brian Tracy shares many more in his book. Now, let's dive into Principle 1, the foundation of discipline: goal setting. Imagine being the captain of a ship without a map or destination. You'd just drift endlessly on the open sea, never reaching land. That's exactly what happens in life when we don't set clear goals. Brian Tracy says self-discipline begins right here, by setting goals with absolute clarity. When you know where you're going, it becomes easier to stay focused and resist distractions. Your brain acts like a GPS, guiding you toward your destination. But if your goals are blurry, your discipline will always be weak. In his book, Tracy cites a study where university students were asked about their goals. Only 3% had written them down. 20 years later, those 3% were wealthier and more successful than the other 97% combined. That's the power of clarity. Think about it. A student who clearly decides to score 95% in exams will put the phone aside and focus. Another student with no clear goal? They'll waste the entire day. Self-discipline doesn't begin by rushing into tasks, it begins with clear goals. When you write them down, you give your brain a roadmap. That clarity itself becomes your first and biggest discipline. Today, take a notebook and write down your top 3 goals. Look at them every morning and evening. Signal your brain to walk that path. Now that we know why goals matter, the next question is, how do we reach them step by step? That's where we move to principle 2, the discipline of time management. Think of your life like a bucket. You need to fit in big rocks, small pebbles, and sand. If you pour the sand first, the rocks won't fit. But if you place the big rocks first, then the pebbles and finally the sand, everything fits perfectly. This bucket is your life. The big rocks are your major goals. Tracy says the next step in discipline is time management, learning to put the big rocks in first. In other words, start your day with your most important, difficult task. Brian Tracy calls this technique, eat that frog. It means tackle your toughest task first thing in the morning. For example, if you're a project manager, and the hardest job on your list is giving a presentation, do it first. After that, every other task will feel easier. Similarly, a student who studies math first thing in the morning, their toughest subject, will find the rest of the day more productive. Time management is really about priorities. Do your hardest and most important work first, and the rest will fall into place. Tomorrow morning, pick the hardest or most important task on your to-do list, and finish it before anything else. But what happens when fear stops you? When your mind says, I can't do this. For that, we need principle 3, the discipline of courage. The biggest enemy of discipline is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of uncertainty. Tracy says courage is essential to self-discipline. Courage doesn't just mean battlefield bravery, it's also about everyday life. It's about facing fear head-on, not avoiding it, and stepping outside your comfort zone. When you do the right thing despite being afraid, your self-discipline grows stronger. Tracy himself once feared public speaking. But he chose to face it, starting with small groups, then larger audiences. Over time, he became one of the most successful motivational speakers in the world. Think of a new entrepreneur. They know there's risk of failure, but they launch anyway. Or a student preparing for a tough competitive exam. The odds may seem low, but they don't give up. That's discipline fueled by courage. Self-discipline and courage go hand in hand. It's not enough to just plan. You prove your strength by facing fear and moving forward anyway. Next time fear stops you, recognize it. Then tell yourself, I can do this. Take just one step, no matter how scary. So you've built courage. But can your discipline protect you from destructive thoughts? For that, we turn to principle 4, the discipline of thought. Have you noticed how your thoughts shape your life? Tracy says your thinking determines your destiny. If you believe you're successful, your brain starts working toward that success. But if you believe you're a failure, you'll act like one. Self-discipline isn't just about controlling actions, it's about controlling thoughts. It's like a mental gym. You need to catch negative thoughts and replace them with positive ones. Tracy once advised a man who constantly complained that nothing good ever happened to him. Tracy told him to change his thinking. So the man began saying every morning, "Today will be a good day." Slowly, his mindset shifted, and so did his life. Or think of a student who says, "I'm terrible at math." They'll never improve. But if they say, "I can learn math," their brain will start finding ways to do it. Discipline doesn't just control your behavior, it reprograms your mind. When you replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you change your future. Next time a negative thought appears, stop it and consciously swap it with a positive one. But with so many options in front of us, how do we make the right choice? That's where principle 5, the discipline of decision, comes in. The real test of discipline comes when you need to make big decisions. A strong person isn't one who knows everything, but one who makes smart choices at the right time. Tracy says decision-making rests on the foundation of discipline. With discipline, you don't make impulsive moves. You analyze, weigh options, and make decisions aligned with your goals. Weak people delay or avoid decisions. Strong people act with clarity. Tracy tells of a CEO who made every decision in haste. Slowly, the company declined. A consultant taught him disciplined decision-making. Pause, analyze data, seek advice, then decide. The company bounced back. Think of a teenager choosing a college. If they pick based on friends' advice without thinking, they might go the wrong way. But if they research, consult parents and teachers, and then decide, they'll likely succeed. Disciplined decisions lead you toward success. Impulsive ones can derail you. Responsible, thoughtful decisions create a strong path forward. Next time you face a big decision, don't rush. Write down pros and cons, think carefully, then decide. So you've learned decision-making. But do you know how much your habits affect your discipline? That's the focus of Principle 6, the discipline of habit formation. You have a hidden power that automates your life. Your habits. Tracy says discipline isn't about doing something once, it's about turning it into a habit. Once something becomes habitual, it requires little willpower. Your brain builds a neural pathway, making the task automatic. Good habits make success automatic. Bad ones make failure automatic. If you build the habit of exercising 30 minutes daily, after a few weeks, your brain itself will push you to do it. You won't need motivation. Or a student who sits down at the same time to study every day. Over time, the brain associates that time with focus, making studying automatic. That's why the world's most successful people, like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, take their habits seriously. The goal of self-discipline is to build success habits. Once formed, they carry you forward with little mental effort. Pick one small habit, like reading 5 pages daily or meditating for 10 minutes. Stick to it for 21 days. Watch it become part of your life. But what happens when you're exhausted, drained, and ready to give up? For that, let's explore Principle 7, the discipline of health and energy. Your body is your most important tool. If it's weak, you can't perform at your best. Tracy says discipline isn't just about the mind, it's also about the body. Without energy, even the strongest willpower fails. Self-discipline requires proper food, sleep, and exercise. A healthy body creates a healthy mind, which strengthens discipline. Tracy shares how, early in his career, he ignored health while working hard. Soon, burnout hit, and his productivity crashed. Only when he began caring for his health did his energy and success return. Or think of a corporate employee working 12 to 14 hours daily, living on junk food, with no exercise. Eventually, they'll burn out. But if they eat well and sleep properly, their performance improves dramatically. The greatest fuel for discipline is a healthy body and mind. Care for them, and you'll always have the energy to chase your goals. Starting today, set a small health goal. Walk 15 minutes daily or sleep 8 hours a night. Now you've got goals, time management, courage, clear thinking, decision-making, good habits, and energy. But what about persistence? That's where Principle 8, the discipline of persistence, comes in. The real test of success comes when challenges hit. Tracy says discipline isn't about just starting, it's about sticking with it until the goal is reached. This is persistence. When you're ready to quit, persistence is the strength that pushes you forward. It makes you learn from failure instead of fearing it. Once persistence becomes a habit, no obstacle can stop you. Thomas Edison tried over 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Every failure was just another step toward success. Or consider a startup founder who struggled for years to land their first 100 clients, but persisted until their company became worth billions. That's the power of persistence. Persistence means standing tall despite failures. Success comes to those who fall, rise, and try again. Next time you feel like quitting, remind yourself why you started. Then take just one more step forward. We've unlocked 8 principles. But Tracy says growth never stops. Success is a journey, not a destination. That's Principle 9, the discipline of continuous learning. The real test of success comes when challenges hit. Tracy says discipline isn't about just starting, it's about sticking with it until the goal is reached. This is persistence. When you're ready to quit, persistence is the strength that pushes you forward. It makes you learn from failure instead of fearing it. Once persistence becomes a habit, no obstacle can stop you. Thomas Edison tried over 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Every failure was just another step toward success. Or consider a startup founder who struggled for years to land their first 100 clients, but persisted until their company became worth billions. That's the power of persistence. Persistence means standing tall despite failures. Success comes to those who fall, rise, and try again. Next time you feel like quitting, remind yourself why you started. Then take just one more step forward. We've unlocked 8 principles. But Tracy says growth never stops. Success is a journey, not a destination. That's principle 9, the discipline of continuous learning. Imagine swimming in a river with a fast current. The moment you stop moving, you get dragged backward. That's exactly how today's world works. With technology and knowledge advancing rapidly, if you stop learning, you fall behind. Tracy says self-discipline isn't just doing what you know, it's also committing to learn what you don't know. Continuous learning sharpens your skills and helps you spot new opportunities. Tracy tells of an experienced engineer who refused to learn new technology. Eventually, his company replaced him with a younger engineer who was up to date. On the flip side, a digital marketer who studies new trends daily always stays ahead. Or think of a student who reads beyond the syllabus and takes online courses. Not only do they gain more knowledge, but they also strengthen their discipline. A key part of self-discipline is lifelong learning. In today's world, those who stop learning quickly get left behind. Dedicate at least 10 minutes a week to learning something new in your field, an article, a course, or even a short video. But what about money? Tracy says discipline even applies to finances. Let's move to the final and most important, Principle 10, the discipline of financial management. Money isn't just money, it's freedom and security. Brian Tracy emphasizes that financial discipline is one of the biggest factors in long-term success. When you learn to control your earnings, spending, and savings, you avoid wasteful habits and build financial security. This discipline prepares you for the future, shields you from uncertainty, and helps you live with confidence instead of fear. Managing money wisely is more than just building wealth, it's about creating stability and peace of mind. Think of someone who earns a high salary but spends recklessly. No matter how much they make, they're always stressed about money. Now compare that with someone who earns modestly but saves and invests consistently. Over time, that person quietly builds real wealth. Even students who save a small part of their allowance can later use it for something big. Families who stick to a simple budget can cover their needs and make their dreams come true. The goal of financial discipline isn't only to become rich, it's to build a secure future and reduce daily stress. Money, when managed with discipline, becomes your ally instead of your enemy. Starting today, write down your expenses for the week. Then commit to saving at least 10% of your income every month. Over time, this single habit can completely transform your financial life. So friends, today we learned from the power of self-discipline that discipline isn't a magic wand, it's a skill anyone can develop. We discovered that it's not just about willpower, but about setting clear goals, managing time, facing fear, controlling your thoughts, making smart decisions, building habits, taking care of your health, persisting through difficulties, learning continuously, and managing your money wisely. This book shows us that when we control our small daily actions and habits, we end up controlling our entire life. Remember, your success doesn't depend on anyone else. It depends only on you. What we've learned today could be the turning point in your journey, if you apply these principles to your own life. If you've made it to the end of this video, it means you truly want to change your life, and that alone is a powerful step. If you enjoyed this summary, hit the like button and drop a comment saying, "I am disciplined." That will be a huge motivation for us at Unique Audiobook. Here, you'll find over 100 book summaries that can shift your thinking and transform your future. And yes, the link to the full book is in the description. Make sure to check it out. If you want me to summarize another book, just type its name in the comments. See you in the next summary.